when we were practicing that song and the lyric of the smoking came up, someone said, "You know, it's legal now." This train is bound for glory. Over the last 3 years of my time with you as pastor, we together, us, have weathered a pandemic lockdown. And thanks to the leadership of the then co-pastors, Reverend Elizabeth Griswold and Reverend Bonnie Rambob, Parkside didn't miss a Sunday. Yeah. Those of you that were part of it remember cell phone live stream video in living rooms with makeshift altars and any children within arm's reach helping out. And we grew into a commitment for hybrid services. And thanks in large part to Jeff's expertise, who's been with us for the last 3 years, we have maintained an online presence as well as an in-person presence every week. And there are folks who call Parkside their church who have never set foot on this property. And together, we came through that connected more closely as friends and community than we thought possible. And we even managed to keep paying bills and have some extra left over. And then we together took the needs of our aging facility to heart and found ways to fix long-standing plumbing, electrical, heating, and cooling problems. Now, you might be wondering, why would he mention that? We are stewards of this place. It isn't the buildings that are the point, but the buildings contain opportunities for the point to happen. And it's nice when we're not threatened with heat stroke or losing a finger to frostbite. And we weathered a season of near weekly, almost daily vandalism with the dedication to keep our message visible and keep our building secure. There was never once talk of, let's back down so they leave us alone. It was, how soon can we put that back up? And we together have absorbed and implemented new roles of leadership where our ministry teams have brought and bring new, exciting vision for who we are and how we are as a faith community. All of this and so much more over the last 3 years. This train is bound for glory. This train has been bound for glory for a long time. In the 50s, when a group of people came together and said, there needs to be a church in Sacramento, this city which is racially segregated and red line divided, and they said, we're going to build a church with the intention of being a multiracial, multicultural church, and they bought this piece of property on a red line. This train has been bound for glory for a long time. This train has stood for gender justice, one of the early churches, not only in Sacramento, but around the country, to hire a woman pastor, Reverend Susan Hamilton, and then hired Reverend Elizabeth Griswold, and then a co-pastorate with Reverend Griswold and Reverend Bonnie Rambob, and then Bonnie Rambob and her husband. This train is bound for glory. From the very beginning of the open and affirming movement in the United Church of Christ, this train said, yeah, we're in. LGBT inclusiveness was on its way. Racial justice, we were part of the Black Lives Matter movement in Sacramento, partly in response and outcry to the killing of Stephen Clark, whose only weapon was a cell phone, but the mass attention that was finally being paid to the lives of young black, particularly men, but also women and genderqueer folks being murdered at the hands of law enforcement for no reason. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory and has been on immigration justice. We've been a solidarity church for years, and then an opportunity literally flew into our laps to help. And rather than say, well, we're just all about policy and advocacy, folks sprang into action to meet these migrants who were tricked into leaving Texas by getting on a chartered plane and dropped off at the Sacramento Executive Airport a few blocks away. Many of you saw this story. It made national news. And we responded along with our Jewish siblings, the first two congregations to step up, provide food, shelter, and material needs. This train is bound for glory. You know, trains exist to travel, to move from point A to point B and on, and to carry people and cargo. This train has been on the tracks and moving towards a better tomorrow for years before any of us showed up. Amen? And this train will keep going after our rides are over. My ride with you on this passenger car on this train called Parkside, this train of justice makers, mercy givers, and spiritual seekers, my ride on this train as pastor ends today, and I hop off. But this train will keep rolling. This train will think it can, think it can, think it can. This train is bound for glory. This train. Amen.